why don't we go ahead and record the first or little introduction thing, and then Vern will do one. I think we should just stick a Super Bowl with Vern, and then Bob Rose is going to be on. Bob he's an interesting guy. He I think I told you he's PR director of the A's, the Giants, the Warriors, the Stanford, and Cal.
Oh wow!
Okay. Over a course of about 30 years, and he's a real character, a real storyteller, and we can get into a bunch of different things.
Stories are good. We just want to make good radio.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's all we care about.
Yeah, let me see here. All right, so let me get. All right, so you know Vern's number 415 730 6137.
Okay.
6137. And then Bob Rose, we're going to get him on his home phone because he lives in the hills in Berkeley, and it's a little easier.
Yeah.
The cell phone won't cut out, or he won't have a phone cutting out.
Uh-huh.
So here, and his number is, a second here. Okay, 510 528 5372. 528 5372.
Right.
So I told Bob probably give him a call, 1:45 or something like that after we've done Vernon. Vernon says he'd like to do more, but just doesn't have the time today. He's real strapped for time. He's always happy to help us out, though.
Okay.
Which is such a Vernon's a great guy.
Yeah.
The
best. Do we want to just do our 2 minutes?
Yeah, let's do that. Let me shut. Oh, you got the door shut. Great. I was at the Warriors last night. God.
Yeah.
Steph Curry just amazes me.
Oh, God, that was incredible.
He's such a great player.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great outside shooter. Never seen anything like it. I mean, he was throwing up shots.
I saw it.
Yeah, 5-6 feet behind the arc. And he was making them. His dad throws one up before the game.
Saw
Hear about that?
That was great.
Yeah.
Did you actually see that live? Or
No, I just heard it. I'm driving. Yesterday it took me an hour to get to the game. I was stunned. The traffic wasn't that bad.
That is surprising.
It was bad on 880, but not bad on the freeway on the one that goes by Berkeley, and it wasn't bad getting on the bridge.
Yeah.
I left at 6:20, so that's a better time to leave. You leave at 6:20, the commute is just kind of winding down, so it's not.
Okay.
It's usually peaks at between about 5 and 6. So yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Bruce McGowan, longtime sports radio personality. Now, today's show is going to be fun because we're going to have 2 guests on.
Yes, we are. We're going to have Vern Glenn, our old friend from local television here in the San Francisco Bay Area. He's a longtime sports anchor, very, very popular, very likable guy, and talk a little Super Bowl with him. And then Bob Rose, an old friend of mine who has worked for many, many years in media relations with the Giants, the A's of Major League Baseball, and the University of California, Berkeley, and Stanford in intercollegiate sports will join us. So Bob has some interesting stories and some great little interchanges about different people he's run into over the years.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. And since the Super Bowl is tomorrow, we have to do sports trivia on football.
That sounds great.
All right, and that's what we're going to do is at each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question, and if you know the answer, email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer, and we'll let you know we'll let you know after we come back from breaks what the answer is, so you'll know whether you got it correct.
Yeah, and I have to say, Edward's questions sometimes are real. I've been stumped many times.
So just a few. We got
you
interesting enough to keep you interested.
You zing me a few times.
Just a couple times. Every once in a while, we'll put a trick question what's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's given name?
Yeah, that's right. It's Lou Alcindor.
No. His given first name is Ferdinand.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
That
Ferdinand? Like Ferdinand the Bull?
Yeah, Ferdinand the Bull. That's actually his first real name.
You and I are old enough to remember that kid's story, right?
Yeah, yes, we are. In fact, that was in The Blind Side, too. They had that, remember that movie?
That's right.
Sandra
That's
Bullock?
right. Yeah.
All right, so this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are still currently yielding over 7.5%. They used to pay 8%, but rates came down a little bit.
That's okay.
Secured by Bay Area real estate doesn't get any more conservative than that. Check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. And don't touch that dial. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back.
All right, let's get the Vern stir.
The Vern stir.
Vern's such a good guy. God, as I said, he's got that happy gene.
Yeah, he really does.
He's such a positive person.
What a great way to go through life,
Yeah, well, and not too many of us are that way. We
Yeah.
try to be. Sometimes I think you can kind of.
I mean, he almost has to be, because of what he does. But
Yeah. Hopefully he'll answer. Vern, please pick up. If he doesn't, we'll just text him. He usually is pretty good. There he is.
Right on time.
Right
Wow,
on time.
Vernon, all right, man. We got you. So we'll talk a little Super Bowl with you. Sounds good?
What's that?
Talk a little Super Bowl for about 10 minutes, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah, great.
That would be great. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Just a lot going on.
Yeah.
My middle son turned 16. So
Oh, wow.
I got to do a lot of stuff so I can so we can pay attention to him later on today.
You got 3 kids, 3 boys, right?
Yep.
And they're at, what are they, 18, 16, and 14?
We almost 18, 15 today, and 12.
Oh, wow. So 2 in high school, 1 in middle school.
Correct. 2 at Tam, 1 in Mill Valley Middle.
Mill Valley Middle's a good school. My daughter,
Yeah.
my sister's daughter went there. She really liked it. Now she's at, this gal's amazing. She's only 28. She's already working and making like $180,000 as her starting salary as a lawyer.
Oh, as a lawyer.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's a big
Copyright law. Yeah, she went to.
Oh, yeah.
They go to school to come home.
Yeah.
No visible mark. It's all good.
It's good. She went to USF Law, so she was a determined young lady. So.
I know a lawyer who
Yeah.
is in the same field. She's older, but she makes $1 million a year.
Oh, geez. Yeah, but then the thing is, you give up a lot.
That's
when you
Vern.
do
That's
that.
Vern Glenn kind of money.
Yeah, right. He wishes. We all wish.
By the way, we've heard from the first of the Slim School.
Oh,
We're 1 for 1. Zach got into UOP, University of Pacific.
oh, good,
Oh, yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's
So,
great.
so we're 1 for 1, and we got I think it's another 5 we're waiting to hear from.
Well, if he wants to be a dentist, that would be the place to go.
Again?
If he wants to be a dentist, that would definitely be the place
Yeah,
to go.
UOP's got a great dental
Yeah.
school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Does he know what he wants to do yet?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Come on. Hey, listen, when I was a junior in high school, I actually knew.
But that was at every time. These are 16-year-old millennials.
Yeah.
You know what? That's true. We had this.
Yeah.
I listened to an 85-year-old woman who was sharp as a tack
Yeah.
talk about this kind of stuff, and she says, "Yeah, these millennials, they're more interested in like the experience
Yeah.
of stuff, and
Yeah.
it's totally
So,
different."
I mean, he's writing down psychology as a major.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
That can and probably will change.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. All right, you ready to get into this?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. And Bruce, who's our first guest?
Well, a guy who worked with us during the first couple of years of this show and is very busily involved in the local sports scene here in the San Francisco Bay Area for many, many years as a television sportscaster. Vernon Glenn, I always say that he's got the happy gene because he's one of the most optimistic, positive people I've ever met. And Vernon, everybody's talking about the Super Bowl this weekend, Super Bowl 51.
Well,
what?
I got to ask you
Yeah.
the first question here,
Sure.
Vern. Where are you going to watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah, where are you going to watch the Super Bowl, man?
I'll be in studio at CBS 5.
Nice.
I've got a kind of juggling newscast with one eye, with the other eye on the Super Bowl.
There you go. Well, I got to ask you about this game because the matchup of quarterbacks intriguing enough with Tom Brady going for his 5th and Matt Ryan, looks like he's going to be the MVP of the league going for his 1st. I mean, how do you see this matchup? Obviously New England's the favorite, but you think Atlanta's got a decent shot?
Well, first of all, I'll say New England's a slight favorite.
Slight
Yeah,
favorite.
that always happens.
Slight.
Only 3.
That's
It's not
right.
It's
Is that
not like
right?
New England's going to go in there
Yeah.
and storm the beaches of Normandy and rout these guys. That's not going to happen. This one's going to be a high scoring. This one's going to be like a 34-31,
Yeah.
27-24, potential shootout. This could be one of those, whoever has the ball last,
Yeah.
gets the field position, drives, for a shot at winning the game as time runs out.
Okay, I'm gonna make my prediction. New England 37, Atlanta 31.
Wow, high scoring game. Okay.
And just as soon as you say that, you can make a good argument for Atlanta winning that game.
Sure.
I just don't see it.
Subplots to this game.
I mean, they look good in the championship to get to the Super Bowl, but I just.
Well, they were playing a much weaker defense too,
Yeah.
facing a much weaker defense in Green Bay. I agree.
It's funny you should say that, guys, because defense is one thing for both teams that's really come alive since the playoff began.
Good point. Good point.
But both of them have been very stingy on defense, especially in the run game, and they've been able to make just enough plays in the passing game. Even with the two youngins in the secondary for the Falcons, in order to be able to get over. I mean, they just kind of both go in there and just kind of hold it down so the offense can get on there and score points.
So who?
That's been their thing.
Okay, so from an injury standpoint, Gronk is still out, isn't he?
Hey, but look at Martellus Bennett.
Oh yeah, and Hogan.
They haven't missed a beat.
Yeah, Hogan's going to come up too. But I'm just wondering, like,
I mean, they're taking guys. They're taking guys that were practice squad guys, like Hogan.
Yeah, like Hogan.
And making them look like Lynn Swan.
Yeah.
Well, it's the system. It is the system, and Brady just seems to he reminds me so much of Montana. Bigger, stronger, faster. He's from our area here, and I'm sure over the years, Vernon, you might have had a few interactions with him. I was lucky enough to be on the sidelines during the. Some people say, if you're a Raider fan, not lucky. During the Tuck game in the snow, working on the Raider broadcast on the Raider.
I was there.
You were there too. I remember that. Yeah. Talk a little bit about Tom Brady though, and the unusual kind of a personality he is, because he's a fanatic for his health regimen is carefully documented. He's married to a supermodel who has to keep herself in shape. He's like just so focused. Very unusual guy.
Well, we're fortunate enough here in the Bay Area to have known Tom Brady and seen Tom before he evolved to a model, very nutrition nut kind of guy. Long before that, he was in high school as another terrific athlete in the West Coast Athletic League, and he was what we like to call a late bloomer. I can remember covering Tom Brady when he was finishing up in Michigan, and he was at the East-West Shrine Bowl, and even the publicist was like, well, please, there's Tom over there, he's a local guy, can you please interview him? And we're like, no, we're good, thanks. and then the draft hit, and he goes to the 6th round. This is a guy that has always played with a huge chip on his shoulder. He's always been one of those overcome the odds kind of guy, and from once he had that mindset for it, it was in an offense that could really go with Belichick running the show. It's been lights out ever since.
Well, he's been healthy too.
Being able to play in 7 Super Bowls.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember what injuries has he even had?
He's had a couple that have knocked him out earlier in his career, but nothing prolonged. But Vernon,
it was the deflate game that really got him out.
I'd like to ask both of you guys this and get your.
And it's funny you should mention that.
Okay.
Because the play game really is the only reason I'd like to see the Patriots win this game.
Yeah,
because
I'm with you.
I want to see the squirmy, uncomfortable exchange between Roger Goodell, Robert Kraft, Tom Brady. Goodell spent millions of dollars, millions, going after the Patriots. And like management always is, they keep going until they get what they want.
Yeah, kind of like.
Got what he wants. He got the 4-game suspension of Brady. And since Brady came back, look out.
I know, he's had a lot of rest.
Yeah, I was going to say kind of like Pete Rozelle and Al Davis back in 1980 when the Raiders were a wild card team, and Pete had to unhappily hand him the Lombardi Trophy. You mentioned that, and I wanted to talk about that with Vernon and you. Missing the first 4 games, that they won 3 of those 4, but I think that was actually a benefit. It not only lit a fire under Brady, but it also allowed him to miss the rigors of 4 hard weeks of play. And so he's fresh. I mean, he goes into this championship game as if it's like the 15th game of the regular season. How much of a difference does that make for a guy who's 39 years old?
I don't think he thinks like that, Bruce.
Mm.
I think he was absolutely ticked off that he didn't have a chance to play in those 4 games. Like he really had part of his life taken away from him. I don't think he treated like that at all. Like, oh, I can get healthy and take a step back from the game and look at it and come at it a different way.
How much did it cost him?
I think it was angry as heck. He's been missing out on those 4 games. No game check, none of that.
4 weeks, so that's a quarter of his salary, regular season salary, right? So whatever he's making
a
quarter.
guy like that isn't playing for the money.
Yeah.
A guy like that is playing because he's just a different beat. He wants to win.
No, but that's still got to be. I mean, how much does he make per year?
God, that's a good question.
He's got to be close to the $20 million a year range.
Okay, so you're losing $5. I don't care how rich you are.
$5 million.
If you're losing $5 million, if you're not making the $5 million, that's gotta. That still gets into your crop.
One of the many things that gets in your crop, probably.
I mean, look at you've been.
But you know what? You do a couple of hug commercials and you make it right.
There you go. Hey, I got to ask you. I was lucky enough to.
You've got a supermodel making 10 times he is.
Oh, I know. God, no question. Yeah, I got to ask you. You showed up in the Bay Area in the early '90s, right at the tail end of Joe Montana's career. I'm sure you watched him from afar when you were back east. And
well, I got here when he was still playing.
Was he still playing? Okay. Yeah, he was still around. But what I'm saying is, you got a chance to see him, if not that much in person from afar, and you've watched a lot of Brady. I was lucky enough to cover Montana's teams very closely in the 1980s. There's a lot of similarities between those two. Not in terms of the physical stature, because Brady's a bigger, stronger, maybe even faster guy, but the way they operate, the way they're able to look off people and change things, so quickly at the line and make adjustments. I mean, when you look at Brady, even though there's a different style and different physique, does it remind you at all of Joe Montana?
Yeah, a little bit, and maybe Montana being a 3rd round pick, maybe a little chip on his shoulder too. I mean, he's a guy that had to come from 5th string at Notre Dame and work himself up to the ranks, and he was able to win have some great fourth quarter comebacks in South Bend, and to be able to make him a little bit more attractive. And his 2nd year in, they go where they win the ultimate prize. But to be able to see a defense and find the soft spots in a defensive zone, put the ball where he needed to, it's a gift, and that's certainly a gift to both Brady and Montana had.
Okay, hey, Vern, stay with us for just a second. We're going to cut to a quick commercial break. All right, here's our first.
Actually, we got to say goodbye to Vern.
That's right, Vern.
Yeah.
No. Now you got me going.
Okay. See, you can't shut him up. He's like me.
That's all right.
We'll get him on for one more segment.
Okay,
sure.
So here we
all
go.
Right.
Which 2 kickers, we're talking football here, are tied at 4 for the record for the most field goals in a single Super Bowl? So two different kickers kicked 4 field goals in a Super Bowl. All right, which 2? Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back. All right, right on the mic.
Right. So we'll do one more with you, Vern. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I got Bob Rose on for the last segment. It'll be kind of fun. I just talked to him this morning. He's such a good storyteller. I thought it'd be fun to get him on. But remember Bob Rose, our old friend from the A's and Giants? Yeah. And of course Cal and Stanford. So
he may be pound for pound. He may be overall the best publicist in the Bay Area. I won't say all time because I think Raymond Ritter kind of runs the table now. But for a guy that's worked for everybody, Cal, Stanford, A's, Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, he has done it in a lot.
He has. He's a good guy too.
Hey, and after the Super Bowl, when you get some time, give us a call, and we'll all go out to get some coffee or lunch or something.
Yeah, we're going to do that, definitely.
Okay, you ready?
Here we go.
There we go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Bruce McGowan, and our favorite previous co-host, Vern Glenn.
Of KPIX Television. We should mention his affiliation in San Francisco,
Absolutely.
the CBS affiliate.
All right, here is our first trivia question. Which 2 kickers are tied at 4 for the record for the most field goals in a single Super Bowl?
Want to take a shot at that one, Vern? I'm sort of.
I'll go Adam Vinatieri, and I'll go Jan Steroids.
That's a good guess. I'm going to go back. I was going to say Gary Yepremian, but I'm not sure about that. It's more recent, isn't it?
The one's really old and
One's really
is,
old, huh?
Yeah, medium.
Oh,
They're
you know,
actually older.
I know who one of them was.
Okay.
Don Chandler.
Yes, Don
of the
Chandler,
Green Bay Packers,
Second
second game
Bowl too
against the Raiders. Yeah,
Okay,
that's right.
So he had 4, and the other one is more local.
More
Ray
local.
Wersching.
Ray Wersching
In Super Bowl 16
That's
against
right.
the Bengals.
That's right.
He's great.
Yeah.
That is great. You know, we're talking with Vern and Glenn here on Sports Econ 101, and I got to ask Vernon about, we've been, discussing Tom Brady and his greatness because he's on the verge of setting an all-time record for Super Bowl rings. With this would be his 5th out of 8 tries. What about Matt Ryan? Not overlooked. I mean, he's going to be probably winning the MVP of the league this year. But man, this kid is, and I say kid because he's a lot younger than me. 30 years old in his prime. What an arm this guy has. What a great group of receivers.
So accurate.
Unfortunately for Matt Ryan, he plays for a team that nobody's talking about.
That's true.
And there's really not, when you get him in an interview or something like that, there's really nothing about him that's compelling.
Mm.
So because he's a off the field, he's kind of a wallflower. There's really not much. There's nothing really, lack of a better word, sexy about him. That you really kind of talk about.
See, these guys, they have to learn after.
There's plenty to talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
Ryan is just football.
Yeah, he's kind of a sort of a chambered novelist. He just sort of looks straight ahead. Maybe that's the secret to his success. But man, what a group of wide receivers he has at his disposal. I mean,
with Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu, I think Mohamed Sanu is going to be a bigger factor than me. So much is made of Belichick. Oh, give him 2 weeks to prepare, and he can get after you. And his record does show he's 10-3. He's had 2 weeks to prepare. But against the spread, he's 6-1 for those who are interested in that kind of thing.
And there are a lot of people that are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I were the agent for these players, I tell them, say, listen, guys, I'm not trying to tell you how to act, but if you want to make money outside of football, you got to learn to do something with your personality. To kind of a little bit more excitable, so you can get the endorsements.
Brian Bosworth was a failure as a player, but he had an outsized personality that kept his, maybe he didn't have a long career, but he kind of breathed some life into it. And I think Vern makes a good point.
I have inside knowledge on that one. I mean, not every agent is apt to that. Not every agent has those kinds of connections to get that kind of personality out of that particular player. And not every player is compelling and want to be something that they really aren't. But guys like Tom Condon, some of the other guys who have kind of like a toe in the water in the entertainment sector, those guys can do that. And if those guys can get the clients, the endorsements and the commercials and all that kind of stuff. Whoever represents Peyton Manning, boy, they just live off of him.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. You mentioned Brian Bosworth. Do you know that he was smart enough to buy a disability policy before he got hurt? And it paid off. I don't know, it was like $5 million. Back then, $5 million was a lot of money. Shoulder problems. But he just, I don't think he necessarily, he didn't necessarily insure his shoulders. He just insured, hey, if I can't play football because I get hurt,
interesting,
I get paid. And
they all have that. The team has one, and if they're smart enough, they take a lot of their signing bonus and they get one.
Yeah, but
any good agent will make sure his client has one.
Yeah, but Brian Bosworth back then, though, how many of them bought it back then?
Well, I mean, that was
mid-'80s.
It wasn't 1880.
Yeah.
It was 1988, 89.
Well, but also you got to find an insurance company that will do it. Lloyd's of London is about the only one I know of.
Well, I don't really know insurance companies well enough to be able to. But I just know if an agent is a good agent, they're going to make sure the client is protected because they know they want to get away.
Oh yeah, can you imagine how much that's going to cost?
It's going to cost an arm and a leg.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. Hey, switching gears a second, you said something earlier that intrigued me, and it's something I've always thought about. Atlanta as a sports town, it's just, and no denigration to the people who live down there. I don't want to knock them, but it's a strange place. You've been there enough times to cover games. I have too. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of passion there. Maybe it's because the only team that's been very successful has been the Braves, and they don't, even during their great years, they sometimes didn't sell the place out. What is it about Atlanta, which is a great, vibrant, excitable powerful city
Well,
that just
I've been to Atlanta a jillion times.
Yeah.
The first thing you have to tell yourself is Atlanta and that region is not really geared for pro football. It's still a college football area. We're talking about Southeastern Conference football and basketball, and those two things are king.
and NASCAR too. Wouldn't you say?
Half hour away from Atlanta,
Yeah.
Athens, Georgia, where the University of Georgia is.
But NASCAR is a big deal down there too, isn't it?
Georgia football is king. Atlanta
Sure.
does draw its fan base, much like the San Jose Sharks draw its own fan base. But that really is that college football is where it's at.
Have
Yeah.
the Atlanta Hawks ever won?
They've never won a championship. As a matter of fact, the old St. Louis Hawks.
They've never won a championship.
They've never even been in the finals. They've had some good teams. They had a very good team a couple of years ago. But, and there is a cult following for them. As you mentioned, you've been down there a lot more than I have, Vern. I've only been there maybe a half dozen times. But maybe it's because the teams, outside of the Braves, haven't had a whole lot of success. When you look at the Warriors for, the better part of 2 decades, they were a joke. Now they're the toast of the league, and everybody's talking about them here in Northern California and around the country. So maybe that's the key is, they just had bad management, made a lot of bad choices with draft
Well,
picks.
it's just that, it's just that area of the country. I mean, it's just Atlanta has been kind of a transient place business-wise because a lot of companies have moved their headquarters there because it's not as expensive as other, Atlanta and Charlotte, North Carolina, it's not quite as expensive cost of living-wise as everywhere else. And there's a whole lot of people from somewhere else that live in the Atlanta area.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a city that's annexed a lot of the county, so it's even a larger city than it used to be. And there are people that have really tried to make it a pro town. They tried to get a hockey team going there with the Atlanta Flames. That didn't work. The Atlanta Hawks were there, but they originated in St. Louis. They were St. Louis Hawks.
That's right.
Atlanta. And the Braves, I mean, it was almost blasé until they could make the playoffs. Now they're on their third stadium. What, in the last 20 years?
Yeah, that's the other thing that amazes me. How did they get these news? The football stadium is being rebuilt. The baseball stadium is being rebuilt, and they were both built in the 1990s for crying out loud.
Yeah, and now the Falcons are going to get a new house.
Yeah,
as well.
That's crazy.
I mean, but those Atlanteans are proud folk, and they enjoy their lifestyle. They enjoy their southern hospitality and great southern food, and that's.
They have to teach Tampa Bay how to draw fans.
There you go.
Yeah, in fact, I guess if the Falcons hadn't been having a good year, the thing is those stadiums, they were in planning process for a long time.
Yeah, but they get the local communities to kick in, which amazes me, Vernon. How do they do that with a sort of a blasé attitude? They get these huge multi-million-dollar facilities built every 20 years, yet the fan base seems like it's kind of lukewarm and tepid, as you mentioned.
And how much of the tickets? They're not that much.
No, I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, there was a time when the Braves it was a good business model, and a lot of people followed with the Braves.
Oh yeah, 11 years in a row they made the playoffs.
And they were very good at developing their pitchers, and it just the ebb and flow. Just they kind of fell back, and other teams moved forward, and this kind of hasn't been their time as of late, but. The graphic curve will fall in their favor at some point moving forward.
Well, they've had one championship, and all those years the Braves were in the playoffs. They only won one World Series. That was right after the strike year, and so a lot of people didn't pay attention. But as you mentioned, Vernon.
But if Atlanta could crack back and go, well, yeah, the Oakland Raiders, all those AFC Championship appearances in the 1970s, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they got two. One actually was in 1980. So yeah, you're right. That's a good point. It's it's a strange city. But I'm hoping for a good game on Sunday. I really am, and I think that's the key. I mean, we've been lucky since the start of the new century. It seems like more oftentimes than not, these games have been fraught with tension and exciting moments, and there have been some classic battles. Starting in 2000 with the Rams' great win over. McNair and the Titans, when the Titans almost pulled it out in the final seconds of play. So maybe we'll see something that's similar.
This has been the year of the unexpected. And if you look back, let's beat Alabama. in the national championship.
Oh, that was a great game.
The Cubs won the World
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Down from 3-1
Yeah.
to be the Golden State Warriors. So a lot, a lot of the unthinkable has happened, and that could sway in the Falcons' favor. I just want to see which defense is going to rush 4, drop 7, and let's see who makes the mistake.
There you go.
That's what I want to see.
All right, boss.
Thanks so much for joining us. We really enjoy having you on anytime you're available.
Yeah. Thanks,
Well,
Vern.
you guys are my brothers.
All right.
Hey.
Thanks, Vern.
I'll come running.
All right.
Okay.
You the man, as they say. He is.
All right.
He's a great
He's a
guy.
good guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, quick question before we
Yeah.
go to break.
And then
Who
we'll
holds
next
the
goes.
record? I hope this is accurate. Who holds the record for the most consecutive games started? Again, we're talking football.
Started, or
Started.
you're talking about regular season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good
All right.
question. Good question.
Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back.
All right. So how long we got for Bob? About 10?
No, we got 13.
Oh, great.
minutes. Yeah.
Perfect. That'll be good. I'll have no problem getting him. Oh, we get this little guy here.
Oh yeah. Thanks. Actually, I gotta. Yeah, I gotta.
There you go. Watch it. There we go.
Is this Bob?
It is.
Bob, it's Edward Brown and Bruce McGowan.
Hey, Bob, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
So we're going to get you on for about 13 minutes. Is that cool? Yeah. And we're going to come out of this little break with a quick question, a trivia question, and then we'll introduce you and get right into it. We'll have some fun.
All right, here we go.
Very informal.
Thanks again for joining us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan, my co-host. Second trivia question. Who holds the record for the most consecutive games started?
You know, I was going to say Jim Otto because I know Jim started for the Raiders, I believe, 15 straight years, but I doubt if it's him. I think it's somebody more recent,
Yeah.
or perhaps a kicker.
No, it is a quarterback. And again, I'm going to trust my sources on this one, but it's a
Peyton
quarterback. No,
No?
but you're close.
Oh, Eli Manning?
No,
No. He's
Brett
not-
Favre.
Brett? Oh, yeah. Brett Favre was a
297 with
Brett-
the Packers, 1992
He was
to
an Iron Man.
2010.
And a nightmare for the 49ers to face. He beat them 3 times in a row in the playoffs before they finally pulled one out. Well, speaking of forces of nature, we've got a guy on the phone here who is a good friend of mine. I've known him for over 30 years. He has had an unusual career and a very, very blessed one in that he has worked with not only the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland Athletics as their media relations director, but he had similar posts at the University of California, Berkeley with their athletic department and Stanford University. And in between all this, Bob Rose, who was our guest, worked in pro football, worked in Florida. But Bob, good to have you with us. And I'm going to throw a curveball at you right off the bat. I want to get you to tell us some stories about some of the people you've crossed paths with. But I got to get your opinion. You know, you're an outsider as we are on this subject. What did you think of this whole, Raider situation where suddenly all of the talk about moving to Las Vegas has suddenly just dropped off the table with Sheldon Adelson, the casino mogul, dropping out? I mean, this is a strange story that just has so many twists and turns. What's your read on it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm on the outside looking in, not make you really get a grasp. But I mean, all I can tell you is, in following the story, early on, I had questions, not only in terms of having a casino owner involved, but I think the other thing that really hasn't been mentioned nearly enough is there was going to be a major relocation fee.
Yeah.
And that was another, I mean, we're talking, what is it? I don't know.
$500 million.
600 million?
500 million, yeah.
That hasn't even been reported in the stories.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why.
That's almost real money.
Not gonna allow it to free. So, yeah, it sounds, every day it's sounding less likely.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation. Well, the Raiders have been down this road before. We all know it. But I got to ask you, Bob was lucky enough, I think, to come back to the Bay Area in 1993 with the San Francisco Giants, who at that time had just changed ownership, had almost moved to Tampa. They had new owners. They brought in Dusty Baker as the new manager. They brought in Barry Bonds as the big free agent prize, 6-year deal, and you joined the team. Pat Gallagher, of course, was still there, the great promotional and front office guy. You had Al Rosen had been there. Then you brought in Bob Quinn, and Brian Saban was waiting in the wings. I mean, everything, it was almost like everything was in place for a dream season. What was that like, and what was it like dealing with Barry Bonds for the better part of 8 years? How was that experience for you?
Well, I would say this. It was a great time to join the Giants for a lot of reasons. My wife and I were living on the East Coast, and I was working in New York. But being a Northern California native, once you leave your heart is always throbbing. You always want to come back, and not only that, but to come back with my child. I'm sure, Chris, the same way you see some of these great Giants, especially in the 60s, and I was a young kid watching Dave McCovey, Everett Shouts, so it was kind of neat to come back, and to come back at a time that they really were trying to make a major transition from having a venue that's not very fan friendly to
You're talking about going from Candlestick Park to the AT&T Park.
And you made that transition, and that was special. And we've seen a whole new era of baseball. But along the way, Bonds was the sort of the transcendent figure, a polarizing figure in a lot of ways. We got to know him pretty well, and I always had good experiences with him because I dealt with him just strictly with baseball. But you saw both sides of Barry, good and bad. How would you characterize this guy? Do you feel like he belongs in the Hall? Because I'm one of the people out there who say, if you're going to bring in Pudge Rodriguez and Jeff Bagwell, who probably did steroids, Bonds and Clemens should be there as well.
Well, first I would say that Gary, I've been fortunate. I've had a lot of stars that I've been able to publicize over the years. And of course, the really great ones, they don't need a lot of help with publicity because their talent really creates their following and such. And I had John Elway, I had I was fortunate in Cal to have Aaron Rodgers, but Barry Bonds in a lot of ways might have been the biggest star. And with that team, a star mentality, it's no secret he was a challenging personality. There's no doubt. He was not an easy guy to work with.
Very diplomatic way of putting it.
I mean, he's probably a really interesting psychological study. But I think genuinely, what we found about Barry Bonds was really didn't care what he thought. He was focused on playing baseball, and I think he kind of felt that he always had to have his guard up. That was how he was going to be able to deal with the expectations and the pressure and all the rest.
Well, remember, not only was he a superstar, but his dad was a really good baseball player, and I don't know how many players have their dads, that were also in baseball, right?
Right, and I think sometimes I feel sorry for him because I think there were things because of the way he grew up. He didn't think it was anything special to be a Major League Baseball player or to he, as a kid, he grew up in the clubhouse. And because of that, I'm not sure if he really appreciated, what most kids would have a dream to play Major League Baseball. And they're wide-eyed and, they're watching his every move. And I'm not so sure he really connected with that. Get that. Because that isn't how he grew up. But anyway, to answer your question, I can say this. He's the toughest person I've ever dealt with. But the demands were great by the media. And he was not someone who enjoyed doing theater.
Yeah.
And he also, I think you find it, and it's not just the players. I dealt with general managers. You deal with, high-level people that are under a lot of stress, and they're going to blow off some steam. And people that I've enjoyed working with, they blow off steam, and you're sometimes right in their path. But once they kind of blow off their steam, they're human beings.
Sure.
When they apologize, and they appreciate that you're tolerating they deal with stress. But to get to the Hall of Fame, I don't know. First of all, I've been a very, what would I say, a purist through all this. And that comes, I think, a lot, first of all, baseball and baseball fans, longtime baseball fans, do appreciate it. It is a lot about numbers. It is about achievement. And, I grew up, I'm old enough that I grew up and I saw all those great players, especially in the National League in 1960. Guys like Frank Robinson, Willie Stargell, all these guys. And I think because so much is numbers driven when they start to vote for the Hall of Fame, they really, to me, I kind of agree with Bruce Jenkins with the Chronicle. It isn't about numbers. You know if a guy's a Hall of Fame just by who he is, how he carries himself. You may not have, may have some problems defining it, but you know it. You see it, and you see that somebody is special. But I also feel that I have felt over the years that a lot of the numbers that were starting to be put up, such as whether it was McGuire, whether it was Jimmy Sosa, whether it was Barry Bonds, I felt that it was cheapening the achievements of people who were in the Hall of Fame, and they were measuring up their statistics to theirs, and it really is apples to oranges.
Well, Bob, I got a quick question for you. I wonder, because Bruce mentioned this, and it got me to thinking, I wonder how many guys are in the Hall of Fame who just didn't get caught.
Doing some untoward things, yeah.
I think it's legitimate. I do think that it's kind of interesting. I don't know. It seems like 1998, 1999 is kind of the time that you started to see physical changes in people. You started to see, in the case of Barry, who reminded me more of Willie Mays when I first saw him with the Giants, because he hit home runs, but he didn't hit mammoth home runs. He just hit home runs, and he was a great line drive hitter. But when the ball started going, hit further, and obviously come back and you're 30 or 40 pounds heavier than you were the year before. But to answer your question, I don't know if there's any before '98 that would, but I do feel. I mean, I was really a purist. I'm going to say it was. I'm going to update my feelings. But I think I was really in a position where I said, you cheese the game. As Bob Cox said so eloquently, you're putting up part 2 numbers. And in a lot of ways, it became World Wrestling Federation. I mean, it was a different game. It was fun to watch. It was mind blowing to watch that matchup with Eric Gagne.
Yeah.
Bonds at a time when he turned on 100, whatever it was, 101 mile back. So from that standpoint, yes, great. But I also felt that truly wasn't their level of achievement.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. You bring that up because I remember vividly you talked about Bonds, and he was physically much different. And yet at the same time, that era kind of brought the fans back. There were probably a good 50% of the baseball fans that left the game. And ironically, it was this cartoonish kind of baseball that you talk about, which I agree with you. Brought the fans back, and now the game is more popular.
Also, you wonder, like, if you had a pitcher, right, who's doing steroids too, then it's like, does that kind of balance out the batter?
Right.
Yeah.
I get that. I mean, of course, the argument is always, it's the same argument you always tried with your parents. Scotty's doing it.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
But I think what has happened is, even though it's a different committee that's selected, you have to look at not only Bud Selig, who definitely spent a lightning rod in this, but Bud Selig, but also, I'm not trying to take away any of their achievements, but you take a look at Tony Russa, take a look at Joe Torre, and I'm not so sure as much about Bobby Cox, but I don't remember the Braves as being big violators in this area, although I'm not sure about Chipper. But the point being is, they benefited greatly, and they're in the Hall of Fame because of players who have steroid connection.
Yeah.
So they're in. Now, that was a different committee that voted them in. And so now you've got players that clearly about getting in, and there is some documentation, or there is some evidence. And so, I think at the end of the day, we knew this when this was going on. That, when Bonds was approaching Hank Aaron's home run record, and, he was going to pass Willie Mays and pass Dave Bruno, you knew this was going to be a messy era.
Yeah.
You knew then this isn't going to work exactly the way, it should work.
Hey, Bob, could you stay with us for just a quick? Okay, because we're just gonna have to take a quick break. Okay. Here's our last trivia question: is who holds the NFL record for the most combined, and this includes punt return and kickoff return touchdowns in a season? All right, that's our question.
Good question.
Email Edward at sportsecon101.com. The answer to that question. When we come back from commercial break, we're going to continue on with Bob for just a little bit and have to say goodbye, and we'll answer that question. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Bob. That's good stuff. I initially wanted to talk about a bunch of things, but I'm glad we stuck
We'll have to
with
have
the
you on
story.
again.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just do a quick wrap here, and good stuff, though. I really appreciate the insights. And glad you got out in between the storms there. Yeah. It's still coming down over here, Marin. Not hard, but just kind of. It's like being inside of a rain cloud. It's weird. I live up on a hill, and I look outside, and it's just this veil of clouds and mist.
It's going to be like that for people.
Sherlock Holmes-esque,
Yeah.
It really is. Okay. Yeah. So what you got the rest of the day going on? Just a nice relief?
Yeah, I'm working on a couple of projects. I think that's when we're going to make musician.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I'm glad to see you're keeping busy and doing. I got to kick myself in the butt more. Edward has me doing this little thing, but it's just going. We're having a fun time though.
All right. So we only have just less than a minute.
Okay. Let Bob see if he can answer it. I'll try to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll say goodbye.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. Last trivia question: who holds the NFL record for the most combined, which includes punt return and kickoff return, touchdowns in the season?
I'm going to let Bob try to take a shot at that, and if he can't answer it, I'll give it a try.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Percy Harvin?
No.
Rocket Ishmael?
No. Devin Hester.
Devin Hester.
From the Bears. 6 combined touchdown
right.
returns.
He had
4 punt and 2 kickoff.
He had a great little run there for a while. Well, listen, really enjoyed having Bob Rose on. I'm sorry we're having to cut things short. Bob, of course, longtime PR guy with the Giants, the A's, Cal, and Stanford, and it's just been a pleasure knowing you all these years, Bob. But more importantly, we're gonna have you on again and tell some stories about your experiences. But fun talking about a little baseball there in the steroid era. Yeah, appreciate you being with us.
Thanks again, Bob, for joining us.
Enjoyed it.
All right,
man. Take care.
All right.
Bob's a good guy. He's one of those guys that when you're covering sports, you want to be able to have a good relationship with somebody who can get you interviews if you're going to try to get somebody who's difficult, and Bob is the best.
He was excellent.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have him on again.
Yeah.
All right, so here's our thoughts for the day. Dale Earnhardt said, you win some, you lose some, and you wreck some.
You wreck some, yeah. Well, he had the truth.
Yeah, well, in his case.
Yeah.
And Dimitri Martin said, I'm not trying to remember who he was. Okay. He said, I used to play sports. Then I realized you could buy trophies. Now I'm good at everything.
I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, that's good. Where do you get these quotes anyway?
I looked on the internet, and if it's on the internet, it's got to be true.
It's got to be true.
That's right.
Yes. No alternative facts. Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
Alternative facts. Okay. So tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. Why? Because we're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective. What we try to do from the business perspective.
Sure. We try to squeeze that in once in a while.
Yeah. Of course, we have good guests. Sometimes it's sports, business, sometimes it's just sports, but we always try to give a different perspective than just, gee, did you see the fastball last night?
Yeah.
Did you see the Warriors last night? All right, we're going to ask some more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. Well, we'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.
All right. Another one bites the dust.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah, we've been doing this now almost 4 years.
Yes, May of